the most expensive firework in the entire world, and it cost me over $160,000. And I also bought a $5,000 firework, a $10,000 one, and this big behemoth right here is a $40,000 firework. And everything here, we spent over $600,000 on this video, and every single firework will be launched.
So about 2 months ago, I made a video talking about why I find MrBeast's content pretty gross. Of course, the context of that video was what is going on in the world at the moment, what's going on in America at the moment, and how throwing around all this money on really stupid stuff is pretty tasteless when so many people are in need. Now, in the video, I did point out MrBeast has given a lot to charity. He's actually done fundraisers to help people during like these troubling times, and you can see on videos he's giving, you know, significant amounts to people who need it. But my whole point in that video was this is often dwarfed by the money he spends on ridiculous stunts. And maybe I'll show some clips from my previous video here, but even when he's being generous, it still has, I guess, some caveats to it. So he had like a game show where people all competed to win $1 million, but once the person had won, he had to spend it within 24 hours so MrBeast could make some clickbaity video about we spent $1 million in 24 hours.
All right, so you now have 24 hours to spend the $1 million. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
And why you might think this guy probably is still grateful regardless, most normal people, if they got that much money, would not want to spend it in 24 hours because you're probably not in the right frame of mind when you've been so happy to receive this cash. You're probably not thinking about the future too much. A normal person, I guess, would like to buy maybe a house, an apartment, some, you know, a car or something, and then maybe save the rest. But for this clickbaity video, this guy had to spend it in 24 hours, and why did he have to do that? So MrBeast could advertise it in a certain way, which would grow his brand and would grow his channel. And the main video I highlighted that showed my problems with him was when he spent 600k on fireworks. Of course, with fireworks, you use them once, you can never use them again.
We are about to launch the largest firework anyone in mankind's history has ever seen. Literally a world record. $160,000. Give me one!
Oh, what a waste of 600k, especially when all the money you gave to people who needed it during, you know, the current situation amounted to about 200k. So a lot of people agreed with me in the video, some people didn't, but to us, what would be worse with someone like MrBeast throwing around this amount of money? I guess you could say it's not so bad because he's raising that himself, it's his own personal money. Well, it turns out that MrBeast is in fact not using his personal money all the time, he's actually using your tax dollars to fund his stupid stunts. So Palmer Hatch reporting for Insider, companies owned by YouTubers MrBeast and Jeffree Star got hundreds of thousands of dollars in coronavirus relief loans because this guy clearly needed some coronavirus relief when he's not only giving out money to people who need it because of coronavirus, he's actually spending 600k on fireworks. So let's get into the article. MrBeast YouTube LLC, Jeffree Star Cosmetics and FaZe Clan are among the recipients of the Paycheck Protection Program loans, Mashable reported on Wednesday. PPE loans are designed to provide relief to small businesses during the coronavirus pandemic. The companies owned by MrBeast and Jeffree Star each received between $300,000 and $1 million, while FaZe Clan got between $1 and $2 million. So ProPublica's database of companies approved for over $150,000 in Paycheck Protection Program loans and disclosed by the Small Business Administration show that MrBeast and Jeffree Star each received a loan of between $350k to $1 million. PPP loans, part of the Federal CARES Act, are intended to help small businesses weather the economic impact of the coronavirus pandemic and keep workers on payrolls. The Small Business Administration said the loans would be fully forgiven if the funds were put towards payroll costs, mortgage interest, rent and utilities. MrBeast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, is a YouTuber with about 42 million subscribers on his main channel, known for his charity giveaways and extravagant challenges. Apparently, most of his money comes from brand deals. A representative for MrBeast YouTube LLC confirmed to Mashable that the company had received a loan, saying that it employed over 40 employees and that many of the brand partnerships had fallen through during the pandemic. And the ProPublica database actually reported that there was only 7 employees. I don't know what's true there. So allegedly, MrBeast had to get coronavirus relief, which is going to be written off by the government, funded by your tax dollars if you're an American. He had to get that because his brand partnerships had fallen through. So he couldn't fund his crazy challenges. He couldn't even pay his employees. But as you're probably guessing, I made a video 2 months ago where he just uploaded a challenge where he spent 600k launching a load of fireworks. Maybe, just maybe, if you are struggling financially, if you're really struggling financially, don't spend $600,000. Don't spend that on fireworks. Pay your employees. And if you do have 40 employees, 600k is going to go a long way. So let's just have a quick look at all the videos he's uploaded since the lockdown started, and let's get a real good look at if this guy is the type of guy and the type of businessman who needs aid from the federal government because he's financially struggling and can't pay his employees. So anything you can fit in the circle, I'll pay for. So in this video, he just gets his mates to put loads of expensive stuff in a circle and he'll pay for it if they can find creative ways to put it in. Again, seems like a guy that is struggling financially. So $70,000 extreme hide and seek challenge. In this video, whoever he finds last gets 70k. Why don't you just not do that specific video and pay your employee's salary, one of their salaries, you know, 70k for the year. So then I've covered this video before, but I gave 200k to people who lost their jobs during the coronavirus pandemic. Again, perfectly nice thing to do, but if you can afford to do this for a video, and the video probably generated a lot of ad revenue, it has 19 million views, then you obviously have enough money to fund your business and to pay your employees and pay utilities and pay mortgage and rent, all that stuff, the loan covered. Otherwise, you would not be giving away this amount of money, especially if your employees apparently are affected to the point that you're needing relief from the government. Maybe focus on them first, or this shows that you're full of rubbish. So another one, I broke into a house and left $50,000. Of course, the most infamous one, I bought the world's largest firework, where he just lets off 600k worth of fireworks. That was only in July. It was only in July, and apparently he needs loans from the federal government to pay for his business. And I don't know the ins and outs of his video. Did someone pay him to make it? Did someone sponsor it? No matter what, it's still pretty gross to see him use this amount of fireworks. But let's say he didn't pay 600k for it. Let's say someone else paid for it. He still made a ton of ad revenue. This video got 46 million views. So 1 month ago, I spent $1 million on lottery tickets and won again. Seems just like the guy who needs money from the federal government. So you get the point, I've gone through it enough. So why is MrBeast, the guy who is chucking around millions of dollars like it's nothing, why is he asking for this? Now, like I've described with the loan, it pays for people's salaries, it pays for utilities, mortgage and rent, and if you use it to that end, the government will write off the loan. So it just seems like MrBeast and his company have used taxpayer money to pay for all this stuff to save more money for themselves. That is essentially what it looks like. They've seen a scheme which they can take advantage of during the global pandemic and use it to cover a lot of their costs, which is probably a significant amount. It says there, the loan is for between $350,000 to $1 million. But when a guy is chucking around this much money, when a guy is making this much ad revenue on his videos, there is no way in hell he is making those videos and not being able to afford to keep the lights on wherever his company is stationed or pay his employees wages. So everyone coming at me in the last video saying that, you know, what have you ever done for charity? You're so wrong about him just trying to cultivate this image. I think this vindicates me somewhat because it just shows this guy isn't a good, selfless guy. And you know, whoever's making the decisions at his company, whether it's him, whether it's, you know, other people who lead it, it just shows they only care about the bottom line. And I pointed this out. I said that getting this social capital, this image that you are some amazing charitable guy, you don't care about money in the sense that you want it for yourself, you just want to make as much money to give it all away. And this guy talks about it on Twitter. If you cared about that stuff, why are you taking money which is paid for by people's taxes? Because although not directly, of course things like this are funded by people's taxes, just like everything that the government pays for is largely funded by income tax. So if you were as good as you said, you would either just flat out not take one of these loans, or if you desperately needed this money, how about don't make one or two of those videos where you're spending $1 million, 500K, and instead use that money to pay your employees. And also, a side note, I've seen him in multiple videos also during the pandemic giving his mates loads of money and loads of free stuff. These people are also probably on his payroll as well. So just think about that. He's not only paying them with government money, but in his videos, whatever other money he's using, he's giving them a load of free stuff. So it seems like quite a sweet gig for MrBeast, and maybe he's not as good as everybody thought, and it's not surprising. And honestly, when I see a guy like this pretending he's, you know, for the poor, he just wants to help people out, I could tell even from that video where he gave away $1 million to whoever won that stupid game show, I could tell it was exploitative because of, first of all, what he said about that guy's living situation before he won the money, saying that he was really happy that he won the money because, of course, when they took a tour of his house, it wasn't the nicest place ever.
And just show you where he lives. So this is where you currently live?
Yeah. This is my room, you know, this is where me, my wife sleep. See, it ain't no room at all. Like,
You can't even open the door all the way.
right. This is my little cousin's room.
Your little cousin sleeps on an air mattress?
Yeah, and he popped it, so it's flat.
Your cousin is sleeping on an air mattress that's like has a hole in it, so he's sleeping on the floor. Can I just say, I'm super glad you won the $1 million. I really am. The more you show us around, the more I'm like, thank God you won the $1 million.
But then, of course, he used him to make this real clickbait video, which probably made him more than $1 million. So just don't trust people who make clickbait garbage, even if they do supplement it with more charitable videos. And yes, of course, MrBeast has given more to charity than me. He's helped more people than me, but unlike me, and I don't know if this is worth much, he's not doing it out of the goodness of his own heart. He's doing it towards creating a brand which in the long term is going to be far more lucrative. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please like the video, maybe subscribe to the channel, check me out on social media at the Kavernacle, on Twitter, on Instagram. Also check out my subreddit r/Kavernacle. Follow me at my personal Reddit r/TommyCahill1995. Check out my Patreon in the description. Check out my Medium and WordPress. Check out my podcast as well. Again, there's lots of stuff to get through these days. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.